podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
No pressure for that.
So, Ed, you've been to Copenhagen.
I have. Copenhagen.
Wonderful.
It's very nice, yeah. Little town, very pretty. Extraordinarily expensive beer, as is the cliche in Nordic parts, but is true.
Yep.
So, it's very nice.
Of course, United won't be travelling to
they won't
Copenhagen.
They'll be travelling to Cologne instead. Very different.
You've been to Cologne?
I have, yeah.
Just the conference centre, right?
Yeah. It's not nearly as exciting. So I've actually been to Bonn more, which is sort of next door. So the airport is in between Bonn and Cologne, but Bonn's even duller. But yeah, Cologne, not my favourite German city.
Bonn was like a good trick question when we were kids for what the capital of West Germany was.
That's right.
You still have it in your head as Berlin. Anyway. I'm just been a long day, and I've just watched that LASK game, and don't know what.
I watched two games. I mean, I was only half paying attention to.
Can I just say, at this point, this is less a podcast, more an intervention.
Yeah, I need help, please. I watched Copenhagen versus Istanbul Başakşehir, which was not the highest quality game, although. There were some decent goals in there. Copenhagen won that easily. Unlike United, who perhaps didn't, but hey, I don't actually know what to. Are we going to do in-depth analysis about this game? No, I want to. Let's do 45 minutes on on United versus LASK.
I did tell one of my friends I was podcasting after the game, and he was like, genuinely, I'm not being funny, but why? Like, who wants to listen now? And then I explained that this is mostly a preview show. I liked it when Jesse Lingard scored two goals in 2 games for Jesse Lingard. He's on a nice run. We're going to talk a little bit about him later in the show. The LASK goal was fire, and then it was hilarious when Martial scored in a kind of like, all right, everyone. Let's have one of the big boys let one of the big boys have the ball. And
it's very nice footwork, wasn't it? And
it was.
I think he was pointing at Marcus Rashford in the stands. Do you think they've got a little bet going on who's going to get the most goals this season?
Possibly so. It's working if they have. I mean, there's a couple of things I wanted to say about this game. I'm sure this is a point that's been made by everyone. But it was really weird that Harry Maguire started.
I mean, I was trying to go through every possible reason for why that would be the case, right? So does he need the minutes? Definitely not. He played more than anyone in the season just gone. Are we short of players? Well, yes, but Teddy Mengen was on the bench. Came on. So no. Do we need the leadership because it was such a youthful side? Ollie was worried about United losing 6-0. No. I mean, I just can't work it out. So.
I was imagining kind of like, if I was in the press conference afterwards, I would definitely ask, so why'd you play him? And then I was kind of working out what, and the answer that I came up with that Solskjaer would say is, well, Harry's a warrior. It's like, I mean, I then constructed an argument in my own head with the answer that I invented for Solskjaer, not one that he actually said, but it had been a long day by that point. But you need to take extra care of the players that will put their body on the line for you. You need to make sure that you're looking after them when you can. And I don't know, it was weird. And then, as if that wasn't weird enough, 60 minutes, Lingard, 2 goals in 2 games, desperately short of form and confidence, desperately short of minutes, is taken off and replaced by Paul Pogba. Like, what? Why?
Yeah,
How?
The only argument I can think for Pogba coming on is that he has actually been short of minutes. I mean, not in since the return, but over the course of the full season. And maybe he just needs a rhythm or something like that, and that's what Solskjaer felt. Or it's the sports science thing, and they're worried about Jesse getting injured because he's hardly played. I don't know. Anyway, yes, a little odd. The Maguire one in particular, a little odd. Anyway, I mean, United have come through it. It got more exciting after half-time, I suppose, with all three goals in the second half. It was truly dreadful, that first half, wasn't it? I mean, like almost nothing happened.
Yeah.
At all.
The one thing that you would say is sort of significant about that is just that there's a lot of players there who could have had an opportunity to impress ahead of a, busy run where they could have maybe broken into that first 11, but there's not a single one of them that will be bothering the first 11. I thought, actually, the much maligned Andreas Pereira's cameo late on was brighter than most, but Dan James just ran into blind alley after blind alley, looked really bad.
Yes, and when he was on the ball, he picked the wrong player out or made the wrong decision or wasn't able to beat his man time and time again. Yeah. I mean, I thought Mata looked horribly frustrated. I mean, he looks like a man raging against the dying of the light, doesn't he? I mean, there's just nothing in those legs anymore.
No.
He's got 2 years on his contract though, so ka-ching. Or it's one and an option, isn't it? I don't suppose he'll be hitting any predefined targets for that option.
Probably not. And then, a little bit brighter second half. Their goal was excellent. Both our goals were nice. There you go. That'll do.
Yeah, I mean, I've forgotten the lad's name who scored the LASK goal.
Weisinger.
Yes, Weisinger. Yeah, it made me want to have a beer. I don't know why. That's just where my head goes to. As he scored, I was like, feeling a bit thirsty.
Delicious Weisinger.
Yeah. On the half volley, do you call it? Is that a half volley? I don't know. Kind of cushioned curler with his foot. Isn't it? Very high-class goal for a centre-back.
Yeah, nice. And then Jesse Lingard scoring, which was lovely. I mean, really nice for him. I know he's had a hell of a time, bless him. And then Martial with the game's like one of United's few moments of real, genuine, outstanding quality. And that'll do me for talking. I mean, it's nice to see Mengi get his debut. That's a nice moment.
Yes, I mean, he's impressed a lot of people in the under-23s and the academy side over the last couple of years. Very accomplished on the ball, had a good few moments, didn't he? I can't say he's going to be fast-tracked into the first team at all next season, although United have a lot of centre-backs, they don't have a lot of quality and depth. So there's an opportunity probably for XL2 and Zabi if he can get fit, obviously. Mengi, maybe it's an opportunity for a loan. I mean, you'd say that actually isn't. I mean, it got me thinking about it because they didn't really have a lot of kids on the bench. There haven't actually been that many training with the first team squad because of the bubble situation and stuff like that. But there probably isn't anyone going to have a breakthrough season next season. I don't think so. Not in the way that Williams did this season or Greenwood.
No, well, I mean, Greenwood would have been predicted, but Williams wouldn't have been predicted. No one would have been imagining that Brandon Williams was about to have a breakthrough first team season.
I mean, and the closest ones are Garner and Levitt, you'd think, but they really should go out on loan.
Yeah.
And Mengi perhaps too. Tae Chong came on, is like hilarious. He, big standoff about whether he's going to stay at the club. Finally signs a new contract, doesn't get a minute afterwards,
and gets to play left back for 20 minutes in the Europa League.
Yeah, he definitely needs a loan away. Anyway, I've got nothing else to say about this game.
No, so tell us a bit about our next opponents, Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, beat Istanbul Başakşehir very comfortably. So Istanbul were 1-0 up from the first leg. I really wanted them to win for two reasons. One, I'd done a bit of research on them because I was like, what is this club? And we talked about it last time out and I didn't know anything about them. And they got a pretty cool backstory. And two, Copenhagen have a Carlsberg as a sponsor, and I always associate. I can't even drink it. I always associate it with Liverpool. You will too when you see them. Anyway, petty much. Istanbul were formerly the state waterworks team, and now are the state youth and sporting team. So we joked a little bit about whether they had some friends in high places, and that's why they suddenly, they only formed in the 1990s, and was that suddenly why they were successful? Maybe.
Yeah,
anyway, not successful tonight. They were pretty poor. Copenhagen, I think, a few decent players. No one, I think, that's going to trouble United much at all. You won't recognise too many names unless you're really an aficionado. The Danish, what's it called? Super League? Something like that.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Brian Oviedo, the former Fulham left back, and Everton, I guess, left back, left winger, came on as a sub, so you'll recognise him. Rasmus Falk has played for Denmark a few times.
And also his first name's Erasmus, which is always good.
Yeah, it's cool, yeah. And their manager is Ståle Solbakken, who you'll know, played for Norway a whole bunch of times and had a short spell at Wimbledon and stuff like that. So
yeah, name rings a bell. You say they're not going to trouble United. Any idea like what formation they played today or anything?
Yeah, played 4-2-3-1, stock European formation, spread the goals around the team. It just didn't look like they had anyone in particular who is going to trouble that. Like, so no extreme pace. They were neat-ish in midfield, although I would say there were a lot of balls into channels that didn't really amount to much. So I would be shocked if United do not progress in this one, playing a full first team.
So, do you have the draw in your head? Do you know who we're getting after if we beat Copenhagen?
Yeah.
Is that already decided?
Yeah, it is, yeah. So we will be playing the winners of Olympiacos and Wolves, who play Thursday night. And Inter beat Getafe 2-0, one-off game.
So either Inter, Olympiacos or Wolves?
Yes, I think so. I believe so, yeah. Yeah,
because Inter are through to the round that Wolves and Olympiacos are competing to get through.
I'm gonna live look this up.
Okay, cool.
I have a feeling that it might be... I wonder whether it's... No, yeah, right. I had it in the back of my head that was probably wrong. So it's Roma-Sevilla, Olympiacos Wolves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's our half of the draw. The other half of the draw is Shakhtar Donetsk through against Wolfsburg, and Frankfurt-Basel play tomorrow, and Rangers-Leverkusen play tomorrow. No, they played today, and Leverkusen beat Rangers 3-1. Ah, okay. No, I thought that was the score from the first leg.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe it was a trailer that I saw rather than a live score. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, makes sense.
So anyway, yes, Roma, Sevilla, Wolves, Olympiacos will be our semi-final opponent, presumably.
Yeah.
Well,
if
presumably
we get there.
we beat...
Right. Okay, yeah. I was like, wait a minute, didn't we just go through that is a fact? But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and we'll play all three of our games, quarter-final, semi-final and final in Cologne.
Right. The semi-final is going to be a much more real challenge, isn't it? Because whoever it is out of those teams, Chris Smalling has now left Roma, I understand.
Well, it seems, we were going to do a piece on transfers and contracts and stuff like that, but it seems that United basically said to Roma, and this has been widely reported, do the long-term deal, or we're not giving you a short-term deal so you can compete for the same trophy as us. So,
yeah. Didn't do that with Sheffield United and Dean Henderson, did they? It was a slightly different situation, admittedly. A lot more of the season left. Okay, well, do you think that Ollie's just going to play the first 11? Yeah. Are we talking about, Wan-Bissaka? Do you think De Gea will play?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he played him in the two crunch games at the end of the season. I mean, unless he's designated Romero Europa League keeper, yes. I mean, could
more
be,
what I meant, kind of thing. That'd be interesting to see.
Should we call Dean Henderson and play Dean Henderson?
He really should play Romero, by the way. Not because of De Gea's form, just because, I mean, Romero deserves a shot at something, given that he didn't get the FA Cup semi-final. It seems crazy that, I mean, especially given that United already qualified for the Champions League, so you're just playing the tournament for the tournament's sake. Certainly against Copenhagen.
European tournament. I mean, I know the Europa League is much maligned because, well, for two reasons, because of the Thursday night schedule, but also because the expansion of it reduced the quality until the latter stages. But it used to be the UEFA Cup, right? And everyone wanted to win that. That was considered a really big European trophy.
I mean, we just played LASK and we're about to play Copenhagen, and we could play Romero in this and not disrespect the glory of a European tournament.
Yeah, well, so what happens if it's a final will be interesting anyway. I mean, look, a tournament, a win is a win is a win. The coefficient's important, the prestige is important, it's the silverware. I'm sure there'll be some United fans trying to sneak into Germany to go watch it. Can't.
Do you remember when Jose Mourinho played Romero in the final when David De Gea was in incredible form and we absolutely desperately needed to win?
I do.
Different world. But yeah, okay, so let's say it's either Romero or Dave, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Williams, I guess, because Shaw's still not fit after
Shaw
for
won't
this
be fit
game.
for a few weeks, yeah.
And then Pogba, Matic, Fernandes, Martial, Rashford, Greenwood.
Yeah, I think that's probably likely, and it's going to be Monday, Sunday, Friday schedule, I think.
Okay.
Is that what I wrote down earlier?
Yeah,
I did check it. I was right when I wrote it down earlier, and then I think that's right. Yeah, so it's not exactly that rammed a schedule at all, and they've had 10 days off, even more for those that didn't play tonight. So they should be feeling okay. Bruno, thankfully, Ollie didn't do a madness and bring Bruno on.
The one thing that I was going to say is I did see some people talking about how maybe he should rest the big players ahead of pre-season. But I don't think there's any real merit in that. They're going to get an extra
2 weeks anyway.
And anyway, they don't need a big long rest. They've just had a big long rest. They needed a little rest. That's what they needed. They needed to not play Wednesday, Sunday, 90 minutes, the exact same starting 11. That's what we were talking about.
Exactly. And in order to make it sort of fair, and I think this was a sensible decision, although it'll have an impact later down the line, all the teams are going to basically get the same amount of time off, right? So Liverpool finished their season 10 days ago. United won't finish their season until hopefully the 21st of August. So they won't get exactly the same time off, but they will get a few more. No, maybe that it might be. I don't think they've announced it, but I think the principle is that everyone's going to get about the same time off.
So United season will start, they'll do a rolling thing. United season will start 3 weeks after the season starts.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it does mean that it's going to be Saturday, Wednesday, like the entire season.
Yeah. Hey, so should we take a little break and then talk about the things that people actually care about, not football transfers?
Oh, I thought you were talking about sponsors. Adverts. No, we'll be back in a second.
If you want more from the show in between shows, check us out on the socials. We are NQAT Pod on Instagram, Ed's at NQAT Pod on Twitter, and we are under our real names on Facebook at No Question About That. So, talking of ridiculous commerce.
Yes.
Let's get the good little bit out of the way. Brandon Williams, 2024.
New contract. Yeah, good for him.
Big up Marlon Brandon Williams.
Yeah, and look, he's earned that through his performances in the first half of the season. The second half, not so good after he came back, but, reasons and all that. Kids have dips and he hadn't played for months. So
yeah, and it wasn't the second half of the season, was it? It was 3 games or whatever that he looked shaky in.
Exactly, and hopefully gets better as he plays more time. Which I'm sure he will. A huge amount of talent, and I wonder. I mean, there's been speculation this week that United are looking at various left backs as well. I'd be surprised, have to say. I think of all the. I think there's a very good argument for replacing Shaw if you can sell him. I'm sure he's on monster money, but anyway, it's good news that Williams is signed up.
Yeah, absolutely. Angel Gomez has left the club, went to Lille. Put a very nice, lovely Instagram post, really emotional.
Yeah, which was greeted with a whole bunch of snark from certain people at certain...
How could anyone who claims to care about football be cynical about that Angel Gomez post? The kid he grew up in Manchester, in Salford. In Salford, supported the club all his life, when a youth player all the way through, played for the first team.
I thought it was so pathetic.
Ridiculous.
I know we're sub-podding here, but anyone can go search it. But I thought it was a very nice message. He's been at the club for 14 years. He desperately wanted the breakthrough. Yeah, it didn't come for him. He may turn out to not be good enough. Technically, he's great. But obviously his physique and stature is a problem. He's gone to Lille. He's going to be loaned out to Boavista for a season. That was obviously all agreed ahead of time. I saw a whole bunch of snarky tweets saying, "Oh well, he could have been loaned out from United." I think it's part of a development path that they've got for him. They have a very good record, Lille, of turning around young players and then selling them on. He'll be there, hopefully be successful 3 years, and he can move on from there. Maybe he finds his way back into the Premier League in a few years' time.
Or maybe we have hashtag Gomez comes Homez when we buy him for £89 million in 3 seasons.
Yes, well, that would be milking it.
Yeah, it would. Anyway, yes, sorry about that. Just got a weirdly little bit unusually personal on the podcast. I just think but it bugged me that I really thought that was out of order. But anyway, people are going to people. Transfer news. United have signed nobody, but they've sold Alexis Sanchez. Well, not officially, but that seems like it's happening.
Well, yes, but Massimo Moratti basically said it's going to be done. So I think when the president says it's done, it's done. So it looks like, there are a whole bunch of conflicting reports, but it looks like basically it's a free transfer and United will pay off Sanchez. It's not been said how much of his £28 million or whatever United owe him. I think it's even more than that, actually, on his contract. But it'll be some proportion of it because he won't be earning that much at Inter. But basically, it's good for all parties. United get a huge amount of wages off the books, get that millstone. I was saying millstone off around their necks. That was totally, it's late, folks.
Yeah.
The analogies are not flowing. They're going to, get rid of what's been one of the worst purchases in the club's history. They've been worse players, but in terms of value for money, all that money, I was trying to calculate it. It depends on how you calculate it. Mkhitaryan, they put it on the books as 35 million. You can argue whether it's really worth that or not. Tens of millions in wages. It could have cost United about 70 million or so. It'll be slightly less than that now they've got rid of him.
Yeah, it's one of the worst transfer deals in human history. Probably can't be called the worst, but
no, Barcelona are pushing for Dembele and Coutinho. There's about £300 million worth of talent.
I think Barcelona have the current Barcelona starting 11 has like 4 of the top 5 worst transfers of all time in it. Anyway,
it's amazing. Barcelona, they bought Dembele, Coutinho, and Griezmann. None of them worked out really.
Yeah.
Atletico spent Griezmann money on João Felix, who's out of the team, can't get a game. Very talented young player, but apparently not getting on with Simeone. So yeah. A huge amount of wasted money here. Are United going to waste a huge amount of money on Jadon Sancho?
Well, they're going to spend a huge amount of money. Like I asked you at the end of the last show, do you think we're going to get him? And I think you sort of. This was just me. This is just me and you talking. This is not no claims of. You got to say these things now when you talk about transfers on the internet. No claims of insider knowledge here, folks. We're just chatting about likelihoods, perceived likelihoods. I think you said
I saw Jadon on your FaceTime earlier. What are you talking about?
When they put that Nike advert about being on the same team, Rashford and Jadon Sancho, that was when I was like, oh yeah, this deal's getting done this summer. And then all the noises. It's absolutely classic. We've got the every single English mainstream journalist tweeting out simultaneously that the two teams are miles apart on transfer which I think is the official like bell ringing that the transfer is about to be done. You know,
do you think Woodward just has them all on a WhatsApp? And
probably, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No, it's BCC. It's a BCC email. That's what it is.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yes,
I guess it's going to happen, right?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it seems like it, and it's by an extraordinary failure here. It seems like everyone, like the stars are aligned. Dortmund are willing to sell, United want to buy, and seem to be willing to go to a large figure. It's just whether they believe, as they seem to have done for transfers in recent seasons, that stringing it out will get them a better deal.
Fabrizio Romano, who is the kind of go-to guru journalist that seems to be believed above all others when it comes to transfers, from what I can work out, has basically said that it's about the current deal is like the personal terms are no problem, and then there's just the kind of the structure of the deal is what's being discussed. I mean, it does feel a bit like United are doing all right, should you take 70 million? No, it's 120 million. Oh, would you take 75 million? No, it's 120 million. It feels a bit like Maguire all over again, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they'll structure it. Some form of upfront payment plus add-ons. The add-ons in the Bruno case are pretty significant. So in the end, United paid more than was being asked the previous summer. That's not exactly how some people on the internet like to frame it, and they like to argue about this, but Sporting put out a press release with all the details in. So, no insider knowledge here. You don't need it. They were so happy with the deal that they decided to publicise it. Anyway, so in the Bruno case, 55 million plus 21 million in add-ons. And so United are obviously prepared to do that, and they're pretty easy add-ons, apparently. Maybe they'll be trying to structure it like that, or at least spread it out. I mean, United's cash position isn't awesome right now, but they don't have an FFP problem because they can write off. They're probably going to be able to write off about 100 million. Not that the Glazers are about to inject that amount of equity in. But there won't be an FFP problem for United. It's basically just cash is the problem. And then presumably they've set a budget for the summer. Joel Glazer, who's the gimp with his hand on the bat phone, and who knows what that is exactly. But I can't imagine it's too much more spending beyond Sancho unless there are major amounts of sales, which I'm sure they're looking at.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about sales. Smalling's coming back to the club. Jesse Lingard, actually,
he won't be coming back to the club for long. I mean,
Smalling is going to go.
Roma want to do the deal. I mean, Juve were apparently interested, so said press. I'm sure that's trying to create a market for him and pressure Roma into doing it. It's just whether United are prepared to do a Rocco or Darmian and keep him at the club when they're not going to use him and pay him wages when they could sell him for a little bit less.
He seems absolutely beloved by Roma fans, which I think is really nice, because I'm just glad that Chris Smalling's found a home where he's happy, because I think he's he's a player that made some really big mistakes for United, but I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, it's a bit obvious, but he tried his heart out and didn't work out for him, but never did anything to be anything other than kind of appreciated by the fans, I'd say. So
no, that's right. And the reason why he went is because he wanted to play, and there was a market for him. Yeah, there wasn't a market for Phil Jones.
No, and Smalling's been a huge success in Serie A from all accounts. I wanted to talk about Jesse Lingard just because a couple of things. He did a really nice post on social media. I don't know about really nice, but really, I don't know, sort of poignant, saying he knows the fans are frustrated with him. He's been frustrated with himself and his own form. And then in a chat with Maya Jama about mental health, he talked about some pretty atrocious things that had happened to him this year. His mum was, I think he was saying, I don't think he said it in so many words, but I think she was hospitalised or certainly treated in a serious way for mental health issues. And he was looking after his two young siblings because he's got, I think, a 14 and 12-year-old sibling. So he was kind of looking after them while their mum was basically, suffering a kind of breakdown from what it sounded like. And that's just a massive deal, and you can't expect someone to be an elite athlete and perform at an elite level while all that's going on. And it brought me to mind of the thing where he spoke a little bit earlier in the season about how he'd been dealing with some anxiety stuff and kind of hinted that things had not been good, basically. He didn't talk about it in the same detail that he has just now. And there was this thing that he talked to the manager about it, and the manager had essentially said, we want to see your old smiling Jesse on the pitch. And as I said at the time, I really hope that's not the extent of the help that he was offered. I hope the extent of it wasn't, we want to see you smiling, because that's not how mental health works. I don't know if anyone out there is aware of this. And
no, you want to say, stiff upper lip, lad, bottle it up, bury it deep down inside, because that's how real men do it, no?
Yeah. There's a lot
it's
of
worked for me for years. So I don't...
There's a lot of conversation happening around how it's good to talk about mental health.
Sure.
And it is good to talk about mental health. It's essential, and it's good to talk about it because you destigmatize it. And it's good to talk about it because sometimes there is just relief inherent in talking about it. But it is not that simple. You can't just... There's a lot talked about that, like, if you... That's almost the implication that you start talking about your mental health and it'll all be fine. But that isn't how it works either. Talking should be the beginning of trying to get help. And this just made me think about that a lot, because it felt like he's been encouraged to talk. He's been brave enough to kind of talk publicly. I really hope that's not where the story ends. I hope the story ends in some actual meaningful support.
Yeah, sure. I don't know whether they have... they have a lot of player liaisons in football these days, and the best clubs do. I don't know whether they have someone like that at Manchester United, who are there basically not just to arrange their Amazon fresh delivery and their laundry or whatever, but also ensure that they have the environment to perform at their very best. I'm sure the club will do it, if only because he's an asset, and if he's playing well, then he's worth more. Cynical answer, but I'm sure they might see it like that. That said, all that's completely correct and fair, and on a personal level, everyone wants him back, happy, playing well, in good health, physically, mentally. He's been very poor for United for a very long time. It's hard to see how he gets out of it. We can have him in the squad again next season, but he's taking a squad place up for a player that hasn't performed well in 2 years. And so,
was he really bad last year? I don't really remember. I know he's been really bad this season.
He was bad last year. We were talking about it loads last year.
Right. So I just think we have seen abundant evidence that there is absolutely a squad player with capital S, capital P in Jesse Lingard. Like, Jesse Lingard at his best is almost exactly what this bench needs.
Sure.
Energy and impetus and the odd bit of
when
real
was
excellence.
The purple patch Jesse? Because there was a 3-month spell when that's what we got from him. But in his entire United career, that's about it,
Yeah, I don't know. There was like a lot of goals in finals, and there was, it wasn't just, there was that little bunch where it was all very batched together, but there was a fairly extended period where you would say he was a useful squad player. We talked so much about how good his movement is off the ball, and he's a valuable defensive asset to an attacking unit, which is obviously why Mourinho loved him. He was Van Gaal's number 10 for loads of time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't see a pathway for him, really. I suppose Angel Gomez leaving is actually... not that Gomez got any... 3 games or whatever Gomez got, but, theoretically it's left a bit more space potentially in the squad for a sort of attacking midfield player. If Sancho does arrive, Jesse's not going to get a game on the right wing very often, is he, with Mason and Sancho ahead of him. And so it's an attacking midfield spot, and he's competing with Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes there. So I don't know. Not a lot of options for Jesse.
Well, except how much have we spent the last 3 months talking about how desperately United need a second choice player in those positions? Pogba and Fernandes have played every single minute. They can't play every single minute. So we need we need bodies and decent bodies. And
yes, exactly.
No,
exactly.
but I think he's got that in him. I think it's different to say a Pereira who has only ever very, very sporadically shown any kind of level of ability. Even a Dan James. Like Dan James, there's a bit of hope because you go, oh, maybe he goes somewhere. But I'd rather, if you're just talking about actual quality right now, I'd rather have Jesse Lingard in the squad than Dan James, I think.
Yeah, I guess it always feels to me when a player has this kind of huge dip, it's very hard for them to make it back.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know too many. I can't think off the top of my head of too many players who've had a sort of 2-year spell of poor performances and come back from it to rediscover their old selves. But maybe
the one thing that I would say is that you've a year of that's Mourinho, and that can't count. And then a year of like really traumatic events off the field. There's potentially a route back there. Anyway,
so to pull two threads together, Mourinho and the Europa League. You were telling me that Spurs, because Arsenal won the FA Cup and will gain automatic entry into the Europa League, Spurs will have to play 3 ties. I mean, it's only a single leg. Fortunately for them, are they doing that tournament style or?
I just saw one tweet
in order to get into the Europa League group stages next season.
Yeah, I think they have to play 3 times to get to the group stages because they were automatically qualified for the group stages by finishing 6th. All the Mourinho jumping around with all his assistants and Mourinho always qualifies for Europe. And then because Arsenal won, it's Arsenal as well, which makes it so much funnier. Arsenal win the Europa League. They go into automatic group stage and Tottenham have to go through from the 2nd qualifying round, which somehow means they have to play 3 games, I think, starting on September the 17th. Although I did see one person tweet, Spurs' new Europa League campaign started 3 weeks ago. now started 3 weeks ago. Anyway, so absolutely hilarious. And, I mean, the inevitable Mourinho Spurs implosion. It has to be said, I'm getting very frustrated with all these Amazon All or Nothing trailers dropping without a release date. We're waiting to plug this into our veins over here.
I know. I mean, look, it's really pathetic. I know, but anything that the world conjures up to dump on Mourinho, I'm all for it. I mean, look, I'm not wishing injury, death, or pestilence on him.
No, not personal. Only professionally.
Professional misery is what I'm wanting for him. Yeah. So, yeah, good. He's not going to be able to buy a single player without selling this summer, which is going to gnaw at him wildly, I'd say, because I'm sure that Daniel Levy will not be doing the exact deals that he wants, which in Mourinho's case is just to dump everybody that he doesn't like and spend millions on the players that he does.
Yeah, and that's who he doesn't like this week, because most of the players at Tottenham that he doesn't like, he spent 3 years trying to buy at Man United. Oh, it was funny when we were briefly linked with Willian and people were like, no, he's gone. Sell him to Spurs. It looks like Arsenal might be signing Willian on a 4-year deal, which is, I mean...
look, he's a good player, Willian, but they haven't learned, have they? This has been their problem. I mean, I guess they see it as a problem position and a reliable player, Premier League proven, professional, all of that kind of stuff, and that's all true. But he's nearly 32. He'll be knocking on the door of 36 when that contract runs out.
Yeah. But as we know, at Arsenal, they're 28 until they're 29.
That's very right. Yes, Arsenal fans love to milk it, don't they? Anyway, have you got anything else to say? I don't.
No, is that everything? You wrote some notes down earlier. Have we covered everything in your notes?
I think so. We're not missing any contract speculation.
No, I don't think so. Oh, Pogba. Obviously, there's lots of contract speculation about Pogba, but nothing is decided. I'm sure we'll hear about that soon. I mean, we were saying that like the Sancho thing's going to happen, or probably looks like it's going to happen, and that's going to take a huge chunk out of the transfer budget. But that isn't going to solve United's issues. I mean, it makes us an even more dangerously, amazingly potent threat going forward, which we definitely already are. And it at least means that there's now 4 players for 3 positions rather than 3 players for 3 positions, which is obviously a good thing. But we are going to need some additional depth elsewhere, as previously discussed ad nauseum.
Yep. I'm sure we'll reach into the transfer speculation plenty of times in the coming weeks. Anyway,
yep.
Copenhagen on Monday. We'll pod sometime after that.
Yeah, not sure exactly when, but we'll
next
get the shows
game's not until
out.
the following weekend, so we've got a bit of time. So.
Yeah, great. All right, well, enjoy the football, everyone. Enjoy the Champions League and the Europa League, the one that really matters. And we'll see you in a few days' time.
All right, see you.
No pressure for that.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.